Hi friends, this is teacher Erika. Today I'm going to read a book to you. It's called The Three Little Dassies. It's written by Jan Brett. And I'm going to do something kind of unusual today. In order to help you understand how this book got written, I'm going to show you the very last page first. So this page shows some animals living in, these are real animals, and they live in a country called Namibia, which is in Africa. And these are real animals. These animals are called dassies. This lizard is called an agama lizard. And in Namibia, they have a type of eagle, which you see up here, that's a very dark colored eagle. It's black. So these animals are real. And Jan Brett, the author of this book, she traveled to Namibia to learn about these animals and about the people that live in Namibia. And while she was there, she came up with an idea of how to tell a story about these animals. And the story that she tells is called The Three Little Dassies. And so if you see here, the animals are wearing clothes. The animals don't really wear clothes. This is an imaginary story that she's making up, but she got some ideas from real life. She also got some ideas for this book from the story, The Three Little Pigs. You'll notice as we read that there are a lot of things that are similar in this book to versions that you've heard of The Three Little Pigs. There's also some things that are different. So as I read, I want you to notice what is the same and what is different with this story. Compared to versions you've heard of The Three Little Pigs. I also want you to notice, is this version kind of gentle or is it kind of gruesome? So here we go. The Three Little Dassies. I'm also going to point out that Jan Brett, we've read several of her books before, and she often puts illustrations. She takes a lot of time working on her main illustration, and then she takes more time to do extra illustrations or drawings or paintings that she puts on the sides of the page that can give us a little extra information about what's going on in the story. So we'll look at these as well as the main picture. Hot, hot, hot. The little Dassies were almost grown up, and it was time for them to find their own place. Mibby, Pibby, and Tibby waved goodbye to Mommy, Daddy, aunties, uncles, and all their cousins and set out for the distant mountains. Come and visit us, they shouted. A place cooler, a place less crowded, a place safe from big eagles. The sisters traveled all day and all night across the Namib Desert, arriving at the foot of the mountains the next morning. This is where we will live, they agreed excitedly. Welcome, a squeaky voice called out from under the scree. It came from a handsome, smiling Agama man. This is the Agama man right there. He's a lizard, like we saw on the last page of the book. But now he's dressed up, because this is an imaginary story. No one has lived here for a long, long time. Just me and a family of eagles up on the mountain. Eagles? The three little Dassies shivered in the hot, hot sun. I think the Dassies are afraid of the eagles, because eagles eat Dassies. Where would they build their houses? Mibby eyed the long grasses. These grasses will make a lovely, cool house, she said, and she set to work, cutting, twisting, braiding, and bundling. She finished in no time. Be near and dear, sisters, she said, crawling inside for a nap. Pibby spotted pieces of driftwood, silver from the sun. Lying in the sand of the dry riverbed, These will make a fine wooden house," she said, and she set about collecting as many pieces as she could find. When she was finished, she hung up a hammock and called out, "Be near and dear, sisters, while I rest my eyes." Tibby looked at the rocks around their mountain. "I will make a stone house," she said, "but it won't be as easy to build as one made of grasses or sticks." And it wasn't. She had to work all day in the hot sun to get finished in time to sleep in it that night. Agama Man had been watching them. He was happy they were staying on. He had missed having company. So here's the eagle flying around. And here's the Agama Man. He seems to be friendly. Let's see if he is. The three little Dassies slept late into the morning as the sun rose higher and higher in the sky. The big old eagle who lived on the mountain stretched his wings and flew down to look for a meal for his hungry chicks. Mibby woke up hungry and went outside. Suddenly, a long-winged shadow passed over her. "The eagle!" she cried and hurried back into her grass house. "I see you, Dassie," the eagle screeched and swooped down. "I'll flap and I'll clap and I'll blow your house in," he squawked, beating the air with his wings until the grass roof sailed off. The eagle grabbed Mibby and lifted her up, up, up to his nest. Looks like the Agama Man is seeing that. And there's the eagle taking Mibby away. I think the eagle is like one of the characters in the Three Little Pigs. I wonder if you know which one. But the eagle was greedy. No sooner had he dropped Mibby into the nest than he spotted Pibby in front of her stick house far below. 2 Dassies would be double delicious, he thought, and down he went, feathers flying. Pibby looked up and saw him coming. She turned and ran back inside. There's Mibby in the nest. And look, there's the Agama Man climbing somewhere. The eagle landed and screeched, "I'll flap and I'll clap and I'll blow your house in," he squawked. Twigs flew, sticks rattled, until Pibby's stick house fell apart. Then, just like Mibby, she felt herself being lifted high in the sky and plunked down in the eagle's nest. Look at here. The Agama Man is climbing up some rocks, and here are Mibby and Pibby together in the nest and feeling scared. Tibby looked out to call her sisters to come for a breakfast of tasty seed porridge. But instead of a grass house and a stick house, she saw a long shadow streaking across the rocks. "I see you, Dassie. Here I come." Oh no, that was the eagle. The eagle landed and shrieked, "I'll flap and I'll clap and I'll blow your house in." He flapped and clapped and beat his wings. Dust and sand blew everywhere, but the stone house didn't move. He tried again, flapping and clapping even harder. Dust and sand got in his eyes, but the stone house didn't budge. And you can see over here, look, the Agama Man arrived to where the 2 Dassies were in the eagle's nest. And here, it looks like he's beginning to help them get out of the nest. When the dust settled, the stone house was still standing, but the eagle was coughing and sneezing. His wing feathers were bent and broken, and he was missing tail feathers. Knowing when to quit, he hopped his way up to his nest. At least he had 2 Dassies waiting for his dinner. Oh, but look, here are the Dassies, They got out of the nest with the help of the Agama man. The eagle reached his nest, but the Dassies were gone. He looked down and saw them at the bottom of the mountain, heading for the stone house. It was his last chance. He streaked down towards the open chimney. Here's the chimney. He's flying towards the chimney. Inside, the three sisters hugged each other. "There's nothing like a stone house when there are eagles abundant," they cried. Just then, the eagle tumbled down the chimney. "I'll flap and I'll clap and ah!" A hot blast from the fire hit him. "I'll fly home for a nap," he squealed, and as fast as he could, he squeezed back up the chimney and flew home, all black and singed from the smoky fire. Mimby, Pimby, and Timby never saw so much as a tail feather of that eagle ever again. Look what happened to the eagle. From the fire, the eagle turned all black. Mommy, Daddy, aunties, and uncles, and all their cousins, and Agama man too, had come to celebrate. "Welcome," the sisters cried, "to a place cooler, to a place less crowded, to a place safe from eagles." And here's the last page again. And it says, if you travel to Namibia today, you will see Dassies living in stone houses with handsome Agama men looking out for them. As for the pesky eagles, they are easily spotted, for their feathers are as black as soot. The end. So we see how Jan Brett used real animals to give her ideas, and she turned those animals into characters and told a story. I bet you can think of a lot of ways that this story is the same as the Three Little Pigs. I bet you can think of some ways that it's different also. Was this story gentle or gruesome? I hope this gives you some ideas about how you could tell your own version of the Three Little Pigs, and it doesn't have to have pigs in it. It could be about three other little animals, just like Jan Brett did. She got ideas from the story of the Three Little Pigs. She got ideas from real life, and I bet she added some things from her imagination. That's what writers do when they make up their stories. Enjoy creating stories and drawing them.